want it. Somebody can know and still not want it. Salvation is not simply, I want you to understand, salvation is not simply a knowledge. That's not enough to get anybody to heaven. Salvation is a submission. Yes, Lord, I'll go. Yes, Lord, I'll do it your way. Yes, Lord, I'm a sinner. I need salvation. Yes, Lord, your way is the best way. That's not what they did, and it's not because they didn't know better. We need to understand the rejection of the King. But not only rejection, also we see the reward of the King. Look at verse 18. The nations were angry, and my wrath has come at the time of death, that they should be judged. And thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants, the prophets, and to the saints, and them that fear thy name, small and great, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth. Now we know that the Christians are rewarded at the judgment seat of Christ right after the rapture. But when the King comes back to establish his millennial kingdom, we're coming with him. And we're going to be able to use those rewards that we got at the judgment here on the earth when we reign with him. You see, there's a lot more to being saved than just sitting. God never called anybody to be a pew dweller. And the thing is, there are going to be different levels, and we're going to get into this as we get deeper in the book of Revelation. There's going to be different levels in the millennial kingdom. When Christ comes to reign on this earth, and he brings us with him, and we have the rewards that he's given us in the judgment seat of Christ, there's going to be janitors, there's going to be kings, there's going to be priests, there's going to be, friends, I don't want to be, please understand, I'm not bashing garbage men. They do an honorable thing, but I don't want to be that in the kingdom. You understand what I'm saying? I want to be as close to God as I can possibly be. I want to have a little bit of a rank up there. That's not being selfish. God gives rewards. There's going to be different levels. And so we need to understand what God is trying to tell us here about the rewards of the King. Now that ought to excite us. That ought to make us want to get busy. That ought to make us want to hand out tracts. That ought to make us want to witness and invite folks to church because, hey, look, the message is very simple. The King is coming. Let's make some preparations. If the thing about it is, we know that the King is coming, but the lost and dying world, they need to hear it. And if I know the King is coming back in an allotted amount of time, I want to gather everybody up so they can be here when he gets here. So they can be ready. That's the only thing that's going to matter is, number one, if we made it. Number two, how many we got to come with us. Because the King is coming. And his reward is going to be with him. The last thing in Revelation 22, the last thing that the Lord ever said, he said, behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me. I pray that we have some rewards, that we don't stand before the judgment seat of Christ empty-handed, because there will be different levels in the kingdom. We see the reward of the King. But lastly, we see the reassurance of the King. Look at verse 19. And the temple of God was opened in heaven, and there was seen in his temple the ark of his testament, and there were lightnings and voices and thunderings and an earthquake and a great hail. Now, I love this because this is talking about the Ark of the Covenant. When it says the Ark of the Testament, it's talking about the Ark of the Covenant. And in the Old Testament, the Ark of the Covenant, it was literally the giant golden box with the cherubims and the wings going to the inside. It had it had the 4 rings, and it had the stakes going through it. The Levites carried it. And that was the place where God dwelt, was inside the Ark of the Covenant. That's what was said. And the thing about it, there's so many truths here. I want to try to pull them all out. But this shows that we're going to be in the very presence of God. The presence of God is coming to us. The one that we know in here, the one that I've met, we're finally going to get to see him. Isn't that going to be something? I'm talking about, that's what it's signifying, that the presence of God is coming. He's going to be with us here on this earth. And I'm ready for it, but here's what I love too. This just goes to show the Bible's real. But in the old temple, you had so many items. You had the laver, you had the brazen altar, there were so many different items in the temple. And they've all been found. But you know, the only thing that's never been found, the Ark of the Covenant. 2,600 years it's been missing. How do you lose a giant gold box? I mean, it would be worth millions. Millions. How do you lose a giant gold box? I'll tell you why it's never been found. It's not going to be found. Because it's in heaven. It's in heaven. That's why it's never been found. Isn't that something? Everything else that was around it was found, but it was never found. The smaller items that were around it have been found, but the big giant gold box, that's something. It's disappeared. It's because it's in heaven right here. And what this signifies is God's presence coming down to be with us. That song we sing a lot of times, Sweet Hour of Prayer. Last verse talks about how we'll go for our heavenly fight. And we'll say, farewell, farewell, sweet hour of prayer. You know why? We don't have to pray anymore down there. We just talk to it. We just talk to it. I just go, hey, Lord, good morning. How you doing today? Hey, Lord, He's going to be right there face to face, friend. There's going to be no more troubles. He's going to show this earth how it's done. There's not going to be a vote. There's not going to be a Congress. There's not going to be a Republican, Democrat, and them trying to tell him what to do. He ain't going to laugh at you, friend. He's going to take His throne. It's always been His. Now He's actually going to take it. Now these angels and these great voices are saying, hey, the reign of wickedness is over. You've had your fun. But the King's coming. And judgment's coming with it. Well, don't you know that was a shower? It's going to be a good day for us. I just pray that you're on the right side of this thing, but I guarantee you don't want to be on the wrong side. The King is coming. He came back